it's India, and I'm going to be going over wholesaling. If you guys need access to this PowerPoint, or if you need access to NIU's ARV and MAO calculator, put a note in the comment section below, or reach out to us on our many social media listed in the description box. This is going to be our table of contents. Our first section is wholesaling, and that's what we're going to be reviewing today. Alright, some of our objectives are going to be to discuss what wholesaling is, compare wholesaling to flipping and the difference between the two. We're going to discuss some vocabulary for wholesaling, and we're going to discuss on and off market deals and how they're different and similar. We're going to go over what proof of funds is and how you get it, and then we're going to review wholesaling step by step. These are some of the terms that you need to know. Purchase agreements, assignment contracts, assignment fees, and offer sheets are all things that you're going to need to complete a wholesale deal. Purchase agreements solidify your agreement and secure your right to purchase or sell a property to another party. Assignment contracts are legal documents that transfer that right and obligations of the purchaser under the purchase agreement to another buyer. Assignment fee is the amount that you make between the seller, you, and the buyer. And an offer sheet is a document that lays out the terms of the offer for the property. This is what you give the seller. It's good to know what rehab means. Rehabbing is a process of restoring and improving a property. A motivated seller is a seller who is eager to sell their property. For example, tired landlords, sellers eager to move out their property, or if the homeowner is recently deceased. These are all examples of motivated sellers. What is wholesaling? Well, a wholesaler contracts a home with the seller, then finds an interested party to buy it. The wholesaler contracts the home with the buyer at a higher price than with the seller and keeps the difference as profit. Real estate investors or real estate wholesalers generally find and contract distressed properties. For example, when you purchase an apple from the store, you're paying the store to bring that apple to you. You know the store didn't grow the apple, but you're comfortable paying a little more for it because they do the work of getting it from the farmers. Would you rather buy an apple or go find a farm and pick one? Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, this works the same with wholesaling. By doing the work for your cash buyer and finding them a property, the buyer is comfortable paying you an assignment fee. In most all cases, the assignment fee is the same as the difference between the buyer's amount and the seller's amount. Wholesaling versus flipping. It's easy to get wholesaling versus flipping confused because they're very similar. But wholesaling is the act of putting a home under contract and selling that contract to someone else to flip the property. It requires little to no funds, and you can assign contracts to cash buyers with houses in as-in conditions. They rarely require you to do anything to them. This also includes a purchase agreement and an assignment contract to work. While flipping is the act of purchasing a distressed home to renovate it and sell it for profit. It requires your own funds to start. You'll need to invest in a property and possibly even get a loan. Usually properties require rehabs, which contributes to the upfront cost. So flipping is the process of buying an asset to fix it and sell it for profit, while wholesaling is the process of securing an asset under contract and selling the rights to the contract for a fee. You have to know the difference between these two because it can get very confusing. Need to know. Proof of funds. When working with on-market deals, proof of funds are requested by the listing agent of the seller entity that provide proof that the buyer has the funds to make an offer. Providing proof that you have the funds and getting an accept offer will allow that property to be taken off the market. Listing agents usually request proof of funds before they remove the property off the market because once the property is off the market, they're not allowed to take any more bids for that property. Doesn't matter if the other bids are higher or if yours is the lowest. Due diligence. In North Carolina, due diligence is a lot like earnest. However, with due diligence, there is usually a fee ranging between $250 to $10,000. This is the amount the seller would receive if for any reason at all the buyer pulls out of the contract during or after the due diligence period. Meaning, if you pull out of that contract after you've paid your due diligence, for whatever reason, that money is not refundable to you, whether it's $250 or $10,000. Earnest, however, is refundable when the buyer backs out within the inspection period. After the inspection period, if the buyer or you decides you don't want to do with anything to do with that house, the earnest money would go to the seller. If it's within the inspection period, then it would be returned to you and there would be no risk in that contract. The amount of earnest fund varies from buyer to buyer. Proof of funds. Examples of them and how to get it. Examples of proof of funds include bank statements, hard money loans, or proof of funds letters from your bank or an institute lender. In order to get proof of funds, if you don't have it yourself, if you've built rapport with your cash buyer and your offer has been accepted by the listing agent or the seller, you can request proof of funds from your cash buyer and send it to the listing agent or the seller. The cash buyer is your partner in this transaction, so their proof of funds will suffice. Off-market deals are direct to the seller, and sellers rarely ask for proof of funds, but in the event that they do, this can usually be negotiated or the same steps mentioned above can be used. You can usually negotiate providing proof of funds after the inspection period, or for an on-market property, usually you will need to provide proof of funds with your offer. Need to know. Listing agents. Listing agents represent sellers who put their homes on the market. The seller is the person or entity that owns the property, while a buying agent is the agent that represents the buyer or the buyer entity. A cash buyer is the person or entity that is providing the cash for the transaction. Sometimes when you're doing off-market properties, you'll need to perform a skip trace to find the information of the homeowners. The process of obtaining a person's contact information through skip tracing off-market deals is called skip tracing. To inquire if they're interested in selling the property, skip trace their number and give them a call. If they answer, just ask. All right, on-market properties versus off-market properties. First, you'll need to find a motivated seller. You can find a motivated seller by word of mouth. Home searching sites like Redfin or Zillow, or you can also use PropStream or Drive for Dollars if you are looking for off-market properties. Next, you'll need to contact the listing agent to express your interest in the property and schedule a tour or make an offer. On-market deals are listed on the MLS, and the seller is usually represented by a listing agent. Then you'll need to send the offer letter to the seller or seller entity with proof of funds. Your assignment fee will be included in your offer amount. Lastly, you'll need to find your cash buyer and have them complete an assignment contract after an offer has already been accepted. Then you'll take the signed purchase agreement, offer letter, and assignment contract to the title company and any earnest or due diligence and wait for your check to arrive after closing. That's it. For off-market properties, you'll need to look at PropStream or Drive for Dollars in order to find these deals. With off-market deals, you'll need to find the names and addresses of the property owners and usually skip trace to get their possible numbers. You will then need to cold call to see if they are interested in selling their property. And don't worry, we'll go over all these terms throughout this PowerPoint. After finally getting a yes, schedule to see the property to evaluate the rehab fee or make an offer over the phone. Then you'll need to send the offer letter to the seller or the seller entity with the purchase agreement. Your assignment fee will be included in your offer amount. Find your cash buyer and have them complete an assignment contract after an offer has been accepted. And then take the signed purchase agreement, offer letter, and assignment contract to the title company with any earnest or due diligence and wait for your check to arrive. That's it. And just so you know, calling listing agents about properties that are already on the market is known as warm calling, while calling properties that are off market is known as cold calling. That's it for that section. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Email us, write us on Facebook, like and comment and subscribe, and I'll see you for section 2, Finding Distressed Homes. Thanks guys. Bye.